Well, I think I've just been talking the whole time without any sound. Hey, game. Can you hear me now? Hopefully that fixed it. Well, okay. Just tested it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, well, what I was saying, even though there was no audio, is I apologize for not really giving any kind of notice about having a live today. So the reason being is that I haven't done a video in a couple days, and I really wanted to stay consistent and let you guys know kind of what's been going on, what's coming up, and answer any questions that you guys might have. So, life as a dwarf. Hey! Guessing that's you, Thomas. So, what's been going on? Well, of course, we've got quarantine. We've got 4 kids in the house doing school, and I am officially launching my business. So you guys have known for a while that I've been doing the life coaching thing, and I did kind of a soft launch when I first started that. I am actually working on getting the website up now. Hey, Brian. And with that, there's going to be a really awesome special that I'm really, really, really excited about. So I've been putting a lot of energy, a lot of effort into putting the final touches on my website and getting everything ready to roll out this promotion that'll hopefully be within the next week. So that is not the best reason why there haven't been videos, but that's kind of what's been going on. So there's just been so much that I didn't want to just throw something on here and not have it be high quality just to have something. So that's why I decided to go ahead and just do a live. So at least there might be some communication and some back and forth. So that's kind of covers what's been going on. And again, the things that are coming up. I have changed the format of my videos a little bit. There'll be more changes coming that'll be very subtle as we go. And the point of that is, as I'm learning, I'm going to get better quality editing software, better quality camera, all of that stuff. So if you guys watch what used to be the Albert family channel, it's now Life of Stan, a lot of the stuff is normal. You guys have heard this stuff before, kind of know that it's coming, but I haven't really talked about it much on this channel. So subtle changes as I'm learning, getting better, and big promotions coming up. So yeah, how have you guys been? What has been quarantine life like for you guys? I have some other stuff to talk about too. Well, as I wait for you guys to respond, one of the things that I saw earlier today is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ryan Cropper. I love watching his stuff on YouTube. Follow him on Instagram and Facebook as well. And Ryan Cropper was not necessarily somebody that caused a spiritual awakening for me, but watching his channel was at a pivotal time where a lot of this stuff was starting to come to a head. And one of the things that he posted today is that it is possible to have more than one spiritual awakening. I would say that it's not only possible, but it's highly likely, if not completely guaranteed. The reason for that is that we receive information just like growing up, just like maturity. The more life experience that you receive, the more wisdom you gain. Makes sense. So the way that you look at something that's happening in your life now is not going to be the same way that you look at it in 20 years. It's not the same way that you looked at it 10 years ago. So there's going to be several different times throughout our lives where we have what you could call a revelation or spiritual awakening that will change the trajectory of your thoughts, your belief systems, and the way that you perceive the world. There's so much going on right now in the world, a lot that is being covered by the news, a lot that is being mentioned but not really covered by the news. And there's a lot of concerns, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of different ways that we can perceive what's going on in the world. And I'm not just talking about that which shall not be named because you're not supposed to say it on YouTube. I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about economic impacts. I'm talking about changes in healthcare systems that will more than likely come from this. Potentially changes in political systems, changes within government, not just our own. There's a lot that's going on. And so imagine if you were to look at this situation 10 years ago, the way that you perceived the world then. What would be your response? What would be your knee-jerk reaction? I know for me, I probably would want to throw up. I would be terrified. But knowing what I know now, I'm observing, I'm cautious, I'm aware, but I'm not terrified. There are some things that I feel anxiety about, but when I'm really honest with myself about what that anxiety is, there's no real need for anxiety. I'm going to look at some of these here. Life as a Dwarf says, it's been going well, but you know that since I'm always hanging out with Stan. Yep. Brian says, quarantine life is boring in my world. Life as a Dwarf says, Brian, I've been meaning to add you on Xbox. Brian, no worries, whenever you can. Okay, cool. Good. We got friendships made. So what we know now, as dire as certain situations seem right now, as scary as certain things seem right now, the unknown, when we look back in 20 years at what is happening right now, we're going to have a completely different outlook on everything that has happened. Right now, we're in this now moment. We're experiencing it in real time. We don't have the benefit of being able to look back and say, oh, well, this is where we went wrong. This is where we should have done this. This is where we should have done that. We'll see that later. Right now, everybody, I'm not going to say everybody's doing the best they can. Collectively, I do feel that we are doing the best that we can. It's no surprise that there are those that are taking advantage. It's no surprise that there are those that are loving this fear-based thing that the media is doing. And we had to remember also that our media, at least here in the United States, is a marketing-based media, not a news-based media. And what that means is that they compete and they vie for views, right? So they're going to compete with the most outrageous views that they possibly, or the most outrageous topics, clickbait, they possibly can. Clickbait is not a new topic. You guys see it every single day on YouTube. The news works the same way. At least our news does. So not to say don't listen to them, but take it as a grain of salt and always continue to do your own research. Because again, like I said, with these multiple spiritual awakenings, these multiple revelations, these multiple points of understanding, what we perceive as the truth right now will be revealed to be something else later. So not again saying, oh, these conspiracy things. I'm just saying the world is not as scary as they want us to believe. Well, hey, how are you? I don't want to mispronounce your name, but I probably will. I apologize. Arlicht. I apologize. I am Britta Albert. Welcome. So glad to have you here. So, yeah, I hope that helps some people. This is a weird time that we're living in right now. This is a weird, there's so many different belief systems that are merging. I don't think I've ever seen such a diverse group of belief systems coming together all in the same time. You've got conspiracy people. You have, what was that? Lots of people mispronounce my name. It's Dutch. I'm so sorry, my dear. And I am like the worst at pronouncing names anyway. But either way, I'm very glad to have you here. Lost my train of thought. Oh, well, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, y'all know how many different belief systems there are. And even here in the United States, it is just crazy. I had to stop looking at Facebook, which I think is something that we all do from time to time. I love all of my friends and I love all of my family, and I love how everybody has such a different perspective of life and the world. I think it makes it beautiful, it makes it rich, but it's not all for me. And there are some things, especially when it comes to anxiety, where I just had to get off of Facebook and I just have to stop reading some of the fear-based things that people post. I fully support their belief in it if that's where they want to be. But for me, I have to keep out of the density. I have to remind myself and be very present in my now moment. What is my now moment? My now moment is I'm extremely lucky that I have a home. I'm extremely lucky that we have food. I'm extremely lucky that we're not struggling financially and that my kids have internet and they're able to do school. I know that that is not the case for a lot of people. And so the only thing I can do is to just become really present in this now moment for me and say, what do I physically see in front of me? What is my environment in front of me? We're not sick. We don't personally know anybody who is sick. I do know personally one person who had it and then got over it. And she's doing a lot better. But staying present is the best way that I can combat a lot of the negativity. Let's see. How has your day been? My day's been good. Yeah, I wanted to come on here and say hey to everybody because it's been a couple days since I've posted a video. And I usually post them every Monday and either Thursday or Friday. And I missed last Thursday and Mondays. So I wanted to make sure that I kept some sort of consistency and came on here, talk to y'all a little bit. Most of what I've been doing is coaching sessions, coaching some clients and coaching some people who are just kind of curious and they want to try it out. So they book like the free 30-minute session, which once this video is done, I don't know how to do it while I'm currently live, but if you want to come back when this video is done, I'll post a link if you want to have a coaching session with me. Having some really, really, really awesome coaching sessions with people right now. This is definitely the time for it. Because what it does is it helps you, like I just talked about, getting really present. It helps you get out of your head, helps you get out of anxiety. And I think we're all going through our own metamorphosis process with this quarantine. So there seems to be a common theme of self-reflection and a lot of things coming up, even like with Pluto in retrograde right now. If you guys are familiar with astrology, I am not the best astrologer. So there's plenty of people on YouTube who are really, really good at this. Molly Cord is one of the people that I follow, and she's fantastic. So I would check her out. But she really goes in depth on talking about this stuff. But one thing that I understand with Pluto being in retrograde is a lot of our crap is coming up right now. There's a lot of fears coming up, but it's giving us opportunities to overcome them, giving us opportunities for self-growth. And I think by and large, that is the main theme of quarantine, is self-reflection, self-growth, shadow work, which again, shadow work, if you're not familiar with that. Hey, babe. Life with Stan is my husband, and he is in the chat now. If you're not familiar with shadow work, essentially shadow work is just the spiritual terminology for healing. How do I say it? I guess shadow self is really the easiest way I can describe it. And what your shadow self is all of the things that you've been taught are bad, either from society, from your family, from religion, all of these things about yourself that you push away and you bury, and things that you hate about yourself. For example, could be things such as lust, or I'm trying to think of some really good examples on the spot. And my computer is wanting to make noises. But yeah, so say, for example, for me personally, if I think about the things that I don't like about myself, they were things and are things that I've buried away. Things that you don't want other people to know that you've done, or things that you think about and you don't want the world to know, things that bring you shame or traumas that you've buried. That is the shadow self. And we like to call the shadow self evil, but that is a misrepresentation. And when you call the shadow self evil, all that you're doing is you're reinforcing a lot of those belief systems and reinforcing a lot of your trauma. And that's where people get stuck, is we call ourselves selfish. Oh, well, I can't do this, or I can't do that. Or if I'm taking care of myself right now, but I'm neglecting the needs of others, then that's selfish. So what if it is? Why is selfish a bad thing? As a society, we have deemed the word selfish, at least here in the United States, as something to be shamed of, to something that makes you a bad person. But I see it as a scale, like a spectrum. And I've talked about this in some of my other videos. It's on a spectrum. There is this side of the spectrum of selfishness, where you don't care about anybody else and you knowingly harm them in the process of getting what you want. I would say that is not necessarily serving your greater purpose or their greater purpose. And then there's the other side of the spectrum, where completely over here, you're 100% neglecting your own needs, giving to everybody else, and causing yourself to burn out. So where on the scale is the right place to be? Well, because it's a spectrum, you have this end of the spectrum, which is not good. You have this end of the spectrum, which is also not good. Neither one of these is healthy for you or other people. So where do we deem where's the right place to be? You're always going to be moving somewhere on that spectrum, and that's okay. That's the way that it should be. That is how you have self-care. That's how you take care of yourself. That's how you take care of other people. But things like that, selfishness in and of itself, is not a bad thing. It's just a thing, and you fall somewhere on the spectrum of it. But because of our feelings of the word selfishness, or I'm a selfish person, has such a negative baggage to it, negative emotion to it, we want to push it away. We want to bury it. And that becomes part of your shadow self. So when you fight your shadow self and you resist your shadow self, all of these things about your personality that you didn't like, didn't want, don't want to admit that's there, don't want to talk about, they're going to come up in other ways. So how many times have you met somebody who is just a nasty person? They're always mean. They have such a negative outlook on life. They never have anything positive to say. They may even come at you with rage. Rage generally is the face of grief. It's the face of pain. Somewhere along the line in that person's life, they were deeply wounded, and they use that anger, they use that bitterness, they use that negative outlook on life as a mask, as a protector. And they pushed away that part of themselves that they didn't like, what they perceived maybe as weak. And that then becomes part of their shadow self. So your shadow self won't be denied. It's going to come up. And to bring this tangent full circle, that's what I see is happening right now with the quarantine. If you have times of quiet, and I know not everybody does, take advantage of the quiet. You don't always have to be playing games. You don't always have to be on the TV. You don't always have to be on your phone. And I am a bad offender of this as well. I know my wrist actually started hurting because of how much I was holding my phone, looking at my phone. And my body literally told me, hey, you're on your phone too much. You're holding your phone too much. You physically are hurting your wrist. Take this time, even if it's just 15 minutes a day, to sit in the silence and just see what comes up. Just observe. Don't put so much pressure on yourself of expectations, or you need to heal this, or you need to address that, or you need to face that. That's not necessarily what this is about. This is just a time of observing and acknowledging. And if the opportunity comes up for healing, allow it. Allow it to be. Because what you're finding right now is that a lot of this stuff that's coming up, this stuff that we were afraid of, the shadow self that we once deemed as evil, is a part of us. It's not evil. It just is. When we are okay with allowing it to exist, understanding that being okay with it, loving it, and allowing it to exist is not giving it free reign of your life. It's not giving it the steering wheel to go out and create havoc and ruin your life and hurt people. No, that's not what it is at all. It's just acknowledging that it's there, allowing it to exist, and loving that it's a part of you, a part of your past, and it is what it is. And it's okay, because you know who you are now. You're still who you are. You're still in control, but even a better version of yourself, because now you're healed. Now you're not pulling yourself back down with all this shadow crap. You're able to move forward. You're able to flourish. We're all going to come out of this quarantine one way or another. So you can either come out flourishing, or you can come out just as you were. Neither one is wrong. Neither one is bad. You get to choose which one you want. I know what one I want, but I can only say what's right for my life. But I do encourage you to just sit in the silence for at least 15 minutes. Doesn't have to be every day. It can just be a couple days a week. And just see what comes up. Just observe it like a scientist. Okay, what feelings am I observing right now? I know for me personally, there have been times where I've been just sitting, not even in the silence. There's people all around in my house. 6 people in my house, 2 cats and a dog. There's always something going on in my house. I've sat there and felt anxiety out of nowhere. Just anxious feelings. And I have to acknowledge that it's there. I say, okay, I'm observing that right now. I'm feeling anxious. Again, just like I said a couple minutes ago, getting back into this place of being in the moment, becoming really present. All right, is there anything in my space right now that's causing me anxiety? No, I'm safe. I'm in my house. There's nothing that's going to harm me. There's nothing that's going to harm my family. I'm okay. Does that make the anxiety go away? No. If you've experienced anxiety, you know that you can try to talk yourself out of the anxiety. There's many things that you can do to help cope. But when you're in it, when you are in it and you're feeling it and you're experiencing it, it's just a ride. You got to let it do its thing. But I can observe that I'm being anxious. I can take care of myself, and I can be gentle with myself, and I can still allow it to be. Is it okay that I'm experiencing anxiety right now? Yes. I'm observing that I'm feeling anxious. Is it okay for that anxiety to exist? Yes. It is completely fine for that anxiety to exist in this now moment, because in the next now moment, it's not going to be there. When we stop resisting the shadow, we stop resisting what's coming up, residual energy or whatever it might be, you just allow it to be, it's going to go fairly quickly. It's not going to take very long at all. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little tangent. See, oh, hey, Lily. I'm having to squint because I don't have my glasses on. Much love to you, my dear. Oh, Stan, can I be blue? Yes, my dear. I can figure out how. There we go. And we'll add Brian too. Here we go. Well, I won't keep y'all very long. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Oh, Lily, I'm so glad you did too. I don't know how much you saw, but down in the link below, I'm going to put, I guess down in the description, I'm going to put a link if anybody wants to book a free 30-minute definition session. Essentially, it's a way for you and I to kind of get to know each other, get you a way for me to serve you without any commitment, and just see if we're a good fit for each other as far as coaching goes. So once this video is over, I'll go ahead and put that in the description. I'm also going to put a link to Molly McCord's channel. She is the astrologist that I was talking about. Again, am not great with astrology, but she is absolutely fantastic. So there's a lot of great people on YouTube, but I can definitely speak to Molly McCord. She's amazing. So just a few minutes. Okay, well, it's a shorter live, so if you want to go back and listen to it, you can, Lily. But thank you guys so much for being on here. I appreciate you all so much. Again, if you want to watch the replay, you can. And I will see y'all soon.